Right, before we start, I need you to stop what you're doing because what I'm about to show you is something most people walking into Screwfix have absolutely no idea about. And the tradesmen who do know, they're not telling anyone. They walk in, they go straight to the shelf, they grab what they need, and they're gone before you've even found a trolley. No browsing, no hesitation, no second guessing. They already know exactly what they came for, and more importantly, they already know why. I spent the last few weeks talking to tradesmen, sparks, plumbers, joiners, first fixers, second fixers, general builders, guys who are in Screwfix so often the staff know them by name. And I asked them one question, just one. What do you quietly stockpile from here that the average person completely sleeps on? Not the big power tools, not the flashy gear, the cheap stuff, the small stuff, the stuff that sits on those shelves and gets completely ignored by DIYers and homeowners, but that professionals grab in bulk because they know something everyone else doesn't. And let me tell you, the answers were not what I expected, because not one of them mentioned something expensive, not one of them mentioned something complicated. Every single thing on this list is cheap, almost always in stock, and the kind of thing you'll kick yourself for not having the last time a job went sideways on you. So let's stop wasting time and get into it. Here are 10 cheap items at Screwfix that tradesmen stockpile before everyone else. Number 1. Screwfix own brand mix wall plug and screw combo packs. Now I know what you're thinking. Screws on wall plugs, seriously? Yeah, but stay with me here because this is exactly the kind of thing that sounds boring until you're halfway through hanging a heavy shelf on a Sunday afternoon and you realize you've got the screw but the plug is the wrong size for the masonry. And just like that, the job stops. You're either bodging it, at which nobody should be doing, or you're getting in the car and driving to the merchant when you should be finishing the job. Tradesmen figured this out a long time ago. They don't buy screws separately and plugs separately. They buy the combo packs where everything is already matched. The right plug size for the right screw gauge all in one bag. Screwfix does these for under £2 in most cases. Some of the mixed packs with a range of sizes are £3. And the tradesman I spoke to said they'll grab 5 or 6 packs in one go and just throw them in the van. Because when you're fitting kitchen units, fixing batons to a wall, hanging radiator brackets, or doing anything that involves going into masonry, you go through these faster than you think. Having a full stock means the job never stops for something this stupid. The other thing worth knowing is that the Screwfix own brand plugs are actually solid. They're not the cheap brittle plastic ones that crack when you drive the screw home too fast. They grip properly, they expand cleanly, and they hold weight the way they're supposed to. For the price, there is genuinely no reason not to have a full box of these sitting at home right now. Number 2, self-amalgamating tape. If you've never heard of this, stop everything and write it down. This is one of the most underrated things you can buy from any trade counter in the country, and Screwfix sells it for £3 to £4 a roll. Self-amalgamating tape is a rubber-based tape that has no adhesive on it whatsoever. Instead, it fuses to itself when you wrap it under tension. You stretch it as you wrap it, the layers bond together, and what you're left with is a completely seamless, completely waterproof, incredibly tough protective sleeve around whatever you've just wrapped. Plumbers carry this for emergency pipe repairs and protecting compression joints in damp environments. Electricians use it to waterproof outdoor cable joins and protect exposed wiring in agricultural or wet settings. Builders use it around pipe entries through walls to create a temporary weatherproof seal. It works in temperatures that would destroy normal insulation tape. It doesn't peel, it doesn't unravel, it doesn't leave sticky residue, and it works on copper pipe, plastic conduit, rubber hose, bare cable, basically anything cylindrical. The tradesman I spoke to said they carry at least 2 rolls at all times, because the moment you need this tape and you don't have it, you've got a problem that cannot be solved with anything else. Normal electrical tape is not a substitute. Duct tape is not a substitute. This tape does something nothing else can do, and it costs less than a coffee. Buy 3 rolls. Keep 1 at home, 1 in the car, 1 wherever you keep your tools. You will use all 3. Number 3, magnetic cable rods. These are the threading rods with a strong magnet built into the tip. And if you've ever spent 45 minutes trying to fish a cable through a wall cavity using a regular draw rod and a piece of string tied to a coat hanger, you will understand immediately why electricians love these things like family members. The concept is simple. You push the magnetic rod through from one end of the cavity or conduit run. Then you use a second handheld magnet on the outside of the wall to track where the tip is and guide it in the direction you need it to go. For tight bends, awkward angles, and long runs through insulated cavities, this turns a 45-minute nightmare into a 5-minute job. The time saving is enormous. And the price is surprisingly modest, usually around 12 to 15 quid for a rod set. And tradesmen pick these up whenever they're passing, because a second set in the van means a second spark on the job can work independently without waiting. If you install your own lighting, run your own Ethernet cables, or do any kind of DIY work involving cables going through walls or ceilings, this is a tool that will genuinely change how you approach the job. It's not a gimmick, it's a proper trade tool that most people in Screwfix walk straight past because they don't know what it does. Number 4. P-clips. Tiny, cheap. Absolutely essential. P-clips are the small plastic or metal saddle clips used to fix cables, pipes, and conduit neatly to a surface, a joist, a wall, a stud, a ceiling batten. They're called P-clips because of the shape. You slide the cable into the curved part and screw through the flat part. Done. Cable is fixed, neat and going nowhere. You can get a bag of 50 P-clips from Screwfix for under £3, and tradesmen buy them in multiples because a professional finish on any job involving cables or pipes is defined by how neatly those cables and pipes are run. Nothing, and I mean nothing, makes a job look amateur faster than loose, floppy, wandering cables hanging off a wall. Neat parallel runs fixed at regular intervals with P-clips is the difference between a job that looks like it was done properly and a job that looks like it was done on a Friday afternoon by someone who wanted to get home. Electricians use them for surface cable runs in garages, outbuildings, and lofts. Plumbers use the pipe version to keep supply pipes tight against the wall in utility rooms and airing cupboards. If you've ever looked at a professional installation and thought it just looks clean and sorted, P-clips are a huge part of why. Number 5. Screwfix own brand white sanitary silicone. Everyone buys silicone from Screwfix, but most people buy the branded stuff at 5 or 6 quid a tube because they assume own brand is rubbish. The tradesman I spoke to told me that's a myth. At least for this product, the Screwfix own brand sanitary silicone is legitimately good. It cures at the right speed. It stays white without going yellow. It doesn't shrink back from the bead after application. And it costs around £2 to £3 a tube. Here's why that matters in practice. When you're doing a bathroom, bath seal, shower tray seal, up basin seal, window seal, tile joints, you can easily go through 4 or 5 tubes of silicone. If you're buying branded at 6 quid, that's £30 on silicone alone. If you're buying the Screwfix own brand at £2.50, you've spent 12. Same job, same result, same finish. The only difference is the logo on the tube and 18 quid in your pocket. Tradesmen stockpile the own brand because they go through it constantly and they figured out that paying premium prices for silicone on every bathroom job is money that walks straight off their margin. Get 6 tubes next time you're in. You'll go through them faster than you expect. Number 6. Turbo Gold wood screws. But in the trade tubs, not the small boxes. And the single biggest mistake DIYers make when buying screws from Screwfix is buying the small 50 count or 100 count boxes because they think they only need a few. Tradesmen don't do this. They buy the 1,200 count trade tubs because the maths is obvious. The cost per screw drops dramatically the larger the pack, and screws are the one consumable that every single job uses and nobody ever has enough of. Turbo Golds specifically are the ones tradesmen reach for because they're a known quantity. The thread is sharp enough to self-start in most timbers without pre-drilling. The head doesn't cam out under a driver. The shank doesn't snap at torque. They go in clean and they stay in. That consistency matters on a job where you're driving 300 screws in a day. You don't want to be fighting your fixings. These come. A 1,200 count trade tub of mixed turbo golds will set you back around £20 depending on size. That sounds like a lot until you realize that's probably 6 months of screws for a busy DIYer or a good few weeks for a tradesman. Never stop a job because you ran out of screws. That's a rule. Buy the big tub. Number 7. Straw can expanding foam filler, not the gun grade, not the professional applicator foam, the small, cheap, grab-and-go cans with the plastic straw stuck to the side. These are £4 to £5 each, and they are absolutely everywhere in a tradesman's van because gaps are everywhere on every job, around a soil pipe going through a wall, around cable entry points, around a new door frame, under a window board, behind a new radiator pipe, between a bath panel and the floor. Expanding foam fills all of it. Yet what most people don't appreciate is that foam filler isn't just a gap filler. It's a draft stopper, a pest barrier, and an insulation layer all in one go. A gap around a pipe that goes to outside isn't just ugly. It's a cold bridge, a mouse motorway, and a source of damp if left open. A quick blast of foam costs £4 and seals it permanently. Tradesmen know this. They keep 3 or 4 straw cans in the van at all times because no matter what job they're on, there will always be at least one gap somewhere that needs sorting. The straw cans are better than most people think for most applications. Yes, gun-grade foam gives you more control and less waste on larger jobs. But for the everyday sealing jobs that come up constantly, straw cans are fast, cheap, and more than good enough. Keep them in the house. I keep them in the garage. Keep them handy. Now, before we get into the back half of this list, if this is landing well with you, do me one favor and hit subscribe. I put these videos out every week. Honest stuff about tools, trade tips, getting value from the right products, and making your money go further, whether you're a DIYer doing up your own home or a tradesman trying to keep the van stocked without breaking the bank. Hit subscribe, you won't miss the next one, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Right, back to the list. Number 8, basic stud and joist detector. The entry-level one, not the premium model. Screwfix sells a no-frills stud finder for around £8 to £10, and tradesmen genuinely rate it. And not because it has deep scan modes or live AC wire detection or any of the features you get on the premium £50 versions, but because for the job of finding a joist or a stud quickly and accurately before you drive a screw or drill a hole, it does exactly what it needs to do. The reason tradesmen grab this as a spare rather than a main tool is simple. The premium one lives in the main toolbox and goes everywhere. The cheap one lives in the van as backup because tools get left on jobs, tools get borrowed, tools get knocked into walls and broken. Having a cheap, reliable spare means the job never stops because someone walked off with the main one. At £8, replacing it doesn't even register as a cost. For homeowners, this is the one to own. And the expensive stud finders are brilliant, but they're overkill for hanging pictures and shelves. The cheap Screwfix version will find your joists, find your studs, and save you drilling into midair or, worse, into a cable. That's all you need it to do. Number 9, ball end hex key set. The fold-out style, not interesting, not exciting, completely indispensable. The ball end on these keys is the thing that changes everything. It means you can drive the hex bolt at up to about a 25-degree angle, which lets you get into awkward recessed spaces, tight corners, and positions where a straight key simply can't align properly with the fastener. Think about where you actually encounter hex bolts in real life. Flat pack furniture, kitchen cabinets, gate hardware, radiator valves, bike components, boiler panels, electric shower enclosures, garden machinery. It's everywhere. And when you need a hex key and you don't have one, nothing substitutes. A screwdriver won't do it. A spanner won't do it. You need the right tool. Screwfix does a fold-out ball end set in metric and imperial for around £5. Tradesmen always have one in the bag and a spare in the van. Joiners and furniture fitters go through these because they're constantly building, adjusting, and fine-tuning things that are held together with hex fasteners. £5. Get the set. You'll use it within a week of owning it. Number 10. And this is the one the tradesmen were most reluctant to share with me. Push-in lever wire connectors. The Wago style connectors or the Screwfix equivalent. If you've done any electrical work in the last 5 years, you've probably come across these. But if you haven't, here's why they're a game changer. Traditional wire connections meant twisting wires together using chocolate block connectors or doing a proper jointing job with the right fittings. All of those have their place. But for joining lighting cables in a ceiling void, extending a circuit inside a back box, or making a quick safe connection at a junction point, push-in lever connectors are faster, neater, and just as secure. You strip the wire, push it into the connector, flip the orange or green lever down, and it's locked. To release it, you flip the lever back up and pull the wire out. It's reusable. It works on solid and stranded wire, and it creates a vibration-proof, corrosion-resistant, IP-rated connection that doesn't rely on your ability to twist wires tightly at an awkward angle inside a dark ceiling rose. Electricians use these constantly, not as a shortcut, as a proper professional solution that saves time and produces a reliable result. A mixed pack of 20 connectors in different pole configurations, 2-way, 3-way, 5-way. Costs a couple of pounds from Screwfix. Professional sparks keep 3 or 4 packs in the bag at all times. The number of times these get pulled out on a job where something needs joining cleanly and quickly is enormous. If you do any DIY electrical work, changing light fittings, installing downlights, extending a circuit for a new socket, get a pack of these. They make the job cleaner, faster, and safer than whatever you're probably doing now. So there it is. 10 things sitting in Screwfix right now that tradesmen quietly stockpile while everyone else walks past them. None of it costs a fortune. None of it requires specialist knowledge to use, but all of it, every single item on this list, is the difference between being properly prepared and being the person who has to stop a job halfway through because they don't have what they need. And that's really the lesson here. Tradesmen don't stockpile this stuff because they're obsessive about having a tidy van. They stockpile it because time is money. Every trip to the merchant is a job that isn't moving forward. Every missing screw, missing plug, missing clip, missing tube of silicone is a delay that costs them. So they eliminate those delays before they happen by keeping the cheap stuff fully stocked at all times. You don't have to be a tradesman to think the same way. Whether you're doing up your own home, running a small maintenance operation, or just someone who likes to be able to handle things when they come up. Keeping your stock of these items full means you're always ready. No panic, no driving around, no bodging it with the wrong thing because the right thing isn't there. Next time you're in Screwfix, don't just walk straight to what you went in for and straight back out again. Run through this list, pick up what you're low on, because those shelves don't stay full forever, and the tradesmen who know what's on them will have been through before you.